The family of Oscar Pistorius is unhappy over the release of a footage of the athlete reenacting the shooting of Reeva Steenkamp. They've just released a statement. Our specialist reporter, Karen Moore, has been following the story closely. Hi, Karen. Tell us more about what the family is saying on this issue.
Well, we've literally just got the statement in the last few moments. They're basically saying that in October 2013, they engaged the services of the Evidence Room, an American-based company specializing in forensic animation. They then go into details about the kind of visual mapping that this company does, and saying that, that essentially the company was engaged to visually map the events on the night of the accident. As part of the process, certain video footage was filmed. The visual mapping was for trial preparation only and was not intended to be used for any other purpose. It has now emerged that an Australian broadcaster has obtained some of this footage from the Evidence Room and has gone to air with it. Of course, we know that that footage was aired at 8:30 Australian time, round about lunchtime in South Africa. We wish to make it very clear that the material that has been aired was obtained illegally and is in breach of the non-disclosure agreement with the Evidence Room. Its usage also constitutes a breach of privilege, as the material was produced for trial purposes on the instructions of a commissioner, and the ownership of the copyright vests in the commissioner. No permission for the disclosure thereof has been given. For the family, and this I think is the central point of this whole statement, the airing of this footage constitutes a staggering breach of trust and an invasion of the family's privacy. It has come to our attention that Channel 7 purchased this footage unlawfully. In addition, during our engagement with Channel 7, we received an undertaking that they would not air any of the material before the end of the trial, which of course we know has actually happened. Whilst we cannot imagine how any of the footage would not support Oscar's version, we will only be in a position to comment further once we've had the opportunity to study what has been aired. So Oscar Pistorius' family coming out very strongly against this footage, saying it was illegally obtained, it was illegally aired, that it was in fact sold to Australian broadcaster Channel 7, and very much indicating that there may be future legal action to follow in light of what they say was a staggering breach of trust.
Now, Karen, having seen the footage yourself, what can you say about it? What can you tell us about it?
Well, it's, it shows Oscar Pistorius, the bits that we've seen that were aired in this documentary, shows him walking at somewhat of a normal pace, struggling to maintain his balance, sort of holding onto objects. It then shows him at his fastest pace on his stumps. It also shows him picking up his sister Eme, who's meant to represent Reeva Steenkamp, as she was found slumped against the toilet. It shows him picking her up, carrying her down the stairs at his uncle's Arnold's house, putting her on the floor. So very intimate footage of his sister as well. And one can only imagine that the family, as they said, would not be happy about that kind of invasion of what they say is their privacy.
Now, Karen, having followed the case so closely yourself, do you think this footage will have any impact on the case?
I think there was cross-examination of Wayne Derman, Oscar Pistorius's, doctor. There was much made by the state about this issue of him running, because he did testify that he did run on his stumps. And a lot of questions being raised about that and whether he could balance or not. But I mean, his lawyers saying that they don't believe that there's any footage which would undermine his version of events. And given that this footage was taken as part of a planned, visual mapping of the scene, I don't see it necessarily undermining his testimony. I think that, obviously, we don't know if the prosecution is viewing this footage. We know that they have in the past, obtained footage, for instance, which was aired by British broadcasters, in which he was referring to his shooting of a watermelon as, stopping zombies, and they made a lot of that. But to the heart of his version, I don't know that this imagery will necessarily constitute any kind of, attack on that. I think the primary issue is that, according to his lawyers, this footage was illegally sold. We don't know how much it was sold for, but we understand it was the equivalent of millions of rands, by a company that was ultimately meant to assist him in preparing his defense.
All right. Karen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was our specialist reporter, Karen Morn.
Know more. eNCA.com